like to call to order the Proctor City Council meeting for Monday, September 19th, 2022. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll perform roll call at this time. Councilor Benson.
Present.
Councilor Reuter.
Present.
Councilor Johnson.
Present.
Councilor DeWall.
Present.
Mayor Ward's also present. Please let the minutes reflect all others in attendance. Looking for a motion to approve the City Council meeting minutes from Tuesday, September 6, 2022.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Before we make that motion, there are a few items we need to add. I'd like to add 5D, which will be called the sand salt payoff number 2 for bite. It's on your desk in front of you. I'd like to add 5E to set the initial budget levy tonight, which needs to be done before the end of the month. And 5F, the liquor control recommendation from their meeting prior to tonight's City Council meeting. So with those 3 additions, we'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll move.
Councilor Benson made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. At this time, we'll take comments and suggestions from the public. The public comment suggestion period of this meeting is when the City Council offers a time for everyone in attendance or watching from home to address the City Council. Once we move on from public comment and suggestion period of the meeting, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the City Council unless the mayor acknowledges you. As a general rule, the council will listen to all comments but will not comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. The council will not engage in dialogue. However, any council member can ask questions. If you'd like to address the City Council during the public comment and suggestion period of the meeting, please come forward to the podium or dial 218-628-6289. Before you begin, please state your name and address for the meeting minutes. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the City Council will be prohibited from using obscene, profane, or threatening language or boisterous conduct that disrupts the meeting or the security of the public. Is there anyone at this time that is interested in participating in the public comment and suggestion period of the meeting? We'll give that about a minute. Hearing none, we'll move on. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second? Second. Sent by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Benson?
On, and we don't have to pull it, I was just wondering on 3A, that's outside the consent agenda?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. That will bring us to 3A. Administrator Rich is absent, excused absence today for tonight's meeting. But the I-35 focus group nomination, we all should have received an email from I believe it came from the MIC, requesting, I'm just going to pull it up here, that we try and nominate, they encourage a nomination by September 30th. If you pull up the PDF that was included in that email, it talks about, we invite you or your organization to nominate one business to serve on the focus group segment 1. We ask that you return nominations by September 30th, 2022. Segment 1 of this focus group is from Midway Township to the Fairmont neighborhood. So I guess if anyone has any recommendations, I would refer you to Administrator Rich before September 30th. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll move on. That will bring us to 5A. Resolution 35-22, Proctor Synergy Raffle. In your packets, a Resolution 3522, resolution of non-objection to issuance of State of Minnesota charitable gambling license. The Proctor Synergy would like to conduct a raffle on December 16th, 2022 at the Proctor High School Gymnasium. Is there a motion to accept Resolution 35-22?
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to 5B, Proctor Utilities memo. In your packet was a memo from the Proctor Utilities Commission for a vacant position that was vacated by a resignation, retirement, the end of, I think that was effective the end of August. Looks like the Utility Commission is asking council to open the application period for another 3 weeks. Is there a motion to approve the application period open for another 3 weeks?
I'll make that motion for discussion.
Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second? Hearing no second.
Well, I'll second it for discussion.
Second it for discussion. Councilor Reuter seconds it for discussion. Any discussion?
I have one, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Benson.
If we've put it on the city's website, publicized it, spoke with people who may be interested, I guess what makes Puck think that people will apply now if it's extended? My other question is, why are we changing the rules? Because I don't think we've done this with others. It's one thing for bids going back out, but you know, in reading the letter, my first thought was, when did social media become the standard for anything? And you know, which social media site are we talking about? There's 113 sites that are considered relevant on the internet. Of those, 30 of them have over 100 million subscribers. And there's 114, if you're in business, 114 different demographics you could use. So if we do go to social media, why, you know, what demographics are we going to use? And, you know, this is a council where when we had the opportunity to go to Northland Alert, to alert our citizens about emergencies and other items that, you know, for people who care, they would sign up free. You know, it got defeated on a 3-2 vote. So if we're not going to use Northland Alert to alert our citizens, and it's already out there, and we have a worthy candidate, I mean, as long as we had a candidate that showed some interest in the community, why not?
Well, and Councilor Benson, that I guess brings it to my point here that there was one application that was received by the Utility Commission. Their memo doesn't provide any details on why that applicant is not being considered. I know sitting on PETA, when we had applicants, we did a score sheet rating the applicants. I don't see any score sheets here showing why the applicant isn't being considered. So I guess my thought would be to either accept the application that was received or to ask the utility commission why this application isn't being considered.
See, and I agree with that. I think that, you know, shame on the public utilities if they didn't publish or put out the information enough to get more than one applicant. That's not, whoever applied, that's not their fault, you know? And we should be happy that we got one at least. Personally, I think that if we got an applicant and it's somebody that, you know, isn't, well, I agree with you. I'd like to see them either accept the applicant we have or tell us why not. But I don't think we need to go out and do it for another 3 weeks. I mean, what does that say to the person that applied?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got you, but, oh no, well, we're gonna look at it another 3 weeks. I don't think that's all right.
Exactly.
And I worry, you know, if this is the route the city's gonna take on applications, I worry we're opening ourselves up to a lawsuit down the road, or in this case particularly. There's no reason given as to why the applicant isn't considered, and I think that's bad practice to start, so my 2 cents.
I agree.
So
And I think we're sending a bad message by not accepting the person that applied. Why, it's not easy to get people to apply. We got somebody that applied and then we're not gonna take it? Or extend it? No.
So I guess what I'm hearing from council is that we either accept the application that was provided, or we ask Puck to provide why the applicant wasn't considered qualified.
Are you making a motion?
Well, those are 2 options that we could discuss doing. I think either one would
I
be,
think you just make that into one motion. Either they accept the person that applied, or they come back to council with why that person was not, they didn't feel he was qualified, he or she wasn't qualified.
I'll make that.
We can go from there, but that's what I'd like to
It's-
see.
For what it's worth, they don't have to accept an applicant at all. I mean, it's
I know.
your prerogative to appoint one.
And I guess to Attorney Bray's point, absolutely, you know, we could appoint this person. Right now, we don't know who this person is, so, because there's no application attached, so I don't think we can approve seating that person onto the utility commission, but I would like a reason as to why they weren't considering that person.
I'd make that motion we were talking about.
Councilor Reuter made the motion to either accept the application or send it
Motion
back
on
to.
the floor.
Oh, there is, this is discussion, yeah, thank you, Councilor Benson. So I guess if council feels strongly on what we've been discussing, the motion in the second would have to be taken off the floor.
Either that or we just vote
Or we could
down.
vote on it. Yep, we could
If we
vote it
don't want
down.
to extend it for 3 weeks, we just vote against it, correct?
Yeah.
Councilor Benson?
So the city council is the appointing authority.
Yep.
We allow boards and commissions the latitude to make recommendations.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote on the motion in the second. Councilor Benson.
The other is if everybody wanted to rescind and
We
make
could do that.
a new motion.
That's why I was asking for any other discussion, but if we can take it to a vote
I don't
too.
care how we do it,
Yeah.
but how do you want to do it?
Oh, I don't care. I was just
Let's take it.
presenting the option.
Let's take it to a vote.
See if we could just vote, then we can make
Yep.
a new motion to do what we want to do.
So any other discussion on the motion in second? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Oppose? Aye.
Aye.
Motion fails for lack of support.
I would make a motion that we probably don't really recommend to the PUC because we're the authority, but tell them that we'd like them to either accept the application that was given to them or provide to the council some information as to why that applicant is not acceptable in the position.
You heard the motion by
Second.
Councilor Reuter, seconded by Councilor Johnson. Any discussion? Councilor Benson.
With the caveat that we will make a decision at the next meeting.
And that the position is closed.
Yeah, yes. Unless some extenuating circumstances that we don't know about.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. That'll bring us to 5.
If I might,
Councilor Benson.
just as a follow-up, Attorney Bray,
Yes,
you were at that meeting.
I was at that meeting.
Is there any insight that you could provide to us that perhaps we could expedite the,
Well, there seem to be two kind of competing concerns that they have. One, that there wasn't enough enough information for the public out there to garner a lot of applicants. And two, they felt that they were being pushed around, for lack of a better way to put it. That's kind of the way I think they felt.
and not one to pay much attention to my public utility bill? Wasn't it an invitation for people to apply on the public utility bill?
I mean, the way they put it, it didn't sound like, at least they didn't think there was.
That's their problem.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, they have the perfect vehicle, direct mail to everybody's home.
I do know it was on the city website, and Councilor Benson, you can probably assure me on this one, but it was in the Proctor Journal as well, correct?
I'm sure the city has the bill to, the affidavit of publication.
Thank you. Any other discussion, I guess, on that, what, before we move on? That will bring us to 5C, sand salt pay request. In your packet was a pay request from Greystone Construction in the amount of $145,335.16 for the work done on the salt and sand facility. Is there a motion to pay?
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Reuter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Bless you. That'll bring us to 5D, sand salt payoff number 2. On your desk before the meeting was payoff for Vite Construction number 2 for the work they did on the dirt work up at the sand salt facility. This would be in the amount of $216,907.23. Is there a motion to pay Vite? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to 5E. We got to set our initial levy for the budget before the end of September, and Finance Director Brunfeld is here to answer any questions. I know she did send material out back in August 15th. Nothing in that info has changed. We did have some good discussion at that meeting back in August regarding setting the initial levy, and I want to say the consensus of the group at that time was to set it at 5%. Just remember, council, we can always bring the levy down from our initial levy, but we can't bring it up. So that is, I believe, the recommendation from Finance Director Brunfeld, but if there's any questions regarding that, we can ask away. Councilor Benson.
Is that our maximum amount?
I don't believe that is the maximum amount.
So we could go higher, but we feel that 7% is, at this point, comfortable, or 5%.
5, yeah.
And if you look at the info, council, she did break it up at a budget of 3%, which leaves us negative 0.5% to the general fund. 4% would leave us at a 0.8% increase, and 5% leaves us at a 1.7% increase to the general fund. So she did break it down from 3, 4, and 5. And keep in mind, this is the initial levy. This is not our final levy, so like I said earlier, we can always go down from here, we just can't go up. So if there's a motion to, I'll make a motion to set our initial levy at 5% if there's a second. Second by Councilor DeWall. Any discussion?
I just think we all, we originally talked about 5%. We were all hoping that maybe we could go down from that, but I think just looking at the way everything, the cost of everything, the way they've gone up just in the last 6 months, it's almost impossible to forecast what's going to happen next year. I just am afraid that even 5% might not end up being enough at the end, but I think that's where we should start.
Yeah, and I agree. We got negotiations coming up at the end of the year. All of our collective bargaining agreements are due. So that's a concern. The inflation that's happening right now is a concern. So, I don't think I would like to see anything higher than 5, but I agree with you that that's right now that's not looking like a bad spot to be in. So.
Yeah, well, 5% gave us what, 1.5% increase? Well, that could get eaten up very fast next year. We might end up at the end of the year, even though we went up 5%, we might end up losing money by the time the year's over. So
Absolutely.
And like you say, you don't have any idea the way the labor market is nowadays, and the raises that everybody's trying to get because of the inflation. It's going to be difficult for us to stay down, I think.
Agreed. Any further discussion, Councilor Benson?
So because of the certification in the certification and final levy in 2022 was a little bit of a bargain for the taxpayers?
Yes, that is correct.
And we can still
Ask questions?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, Councilor
Is-
Johnson.
Is 5% enough?
I did prepare this on August 15th. After the latest economic news where inflation did hold steady in August rather than go down as many had hoped, I think that Councilor Roeder's comments are very valid.
But if we set it at 5, we can't go up.
Right,
If we set it higher, we can go down.
correct.
Thoughts on that, Council?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Benson.
I've been looking at other cities because they're out setting their levies as well, and they're up around 6, 7, up to 9%. So I'd be comfortable at 7, and that gives us a little more wiggle room. Explaining to the citizens that last year or this year was a little bit of an anomaly. With the hope that we can come down to.
I think if we're at 7, I think there definitely could be room to come down. I would hope. But who knows what the future holds, right? So I guess I could rescind my motion if Councilor DeWall has any thoughts to doing so. Because I believe you seconded that, correct?
When was the last time that you did some number crunching?
Really, August 15th.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any base assumptions that have changed. We don't have any further information about negotiations at this point, so it's pretty, I mean, I know just as much as you do.
Yeah. I would be willing to rescind my second.
Okay,
If you would like to rescind your motion,
I will rescind my motion.
I'll rescind my second.
With the motion and second being pulled, is there a new motion on the floor?
I'll move.
At 7?
Yes.
Counselor Benson made a motion to set the initial levy at 7%. Is there a second? I will second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
That will bring us to 5F. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody say something? That'll bring us to 5F, liquor control recommendation. Before the meeting tonight, Liquor Control held their meeting regarding the liquor license that were brought before council a meeting or two ago regarding a refund due to not being in operation for the full length of the year. Liquor Control's recommendation was to refund the establishments per city code and to direct staff to figure out what the refund amount is, as each place of business is different. So there were 3 liquor licenses that were discussed, one being the Pit Stop Bar, one being Legends Bar, and one being the Keyboard Bar. So those were the 3 that Liquor Control directed city staff to refund. Is there a motion to accept that recommendation? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Reuter. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Yeah,
Oh.
just for clarification, we were pretty much opposed to it the first time because we didn't want to set a precedent and then come to find out, looking deeper into the city codes, there's actually a section of the code that deals with giving back these refunds if things happen the way that they have. So we're just going to follow city code and recommend refunding the money.
Thank you for that explanation, Counselor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Oppose? Motion passes. That'll bring us to members' concerns. Counselor Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just still a little perplexed about the public utility motion. Their recommendation, I should say, we don't have any minutes, and one person is absent at this point, and bills don't get paid, or projects don't get complete.
That is a dilemma they have right now, with only 2 commissioners sitting. So yeah, it'd be nice to get somebody seated on that, so they definitely can make sure to have a quorum at their meetings.
Which is
I don't know how that would operate though, Counselor Benson.
Which is why I thought it'd be prudent to have it back on the agenda at the next meeting, our agenda, so we could move it along.
Megan, can you just relay that to Administrator Rich? Thank you. Anything further, Counselor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor DeWall?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Counselor Johnson?
I just want to thank all the volunteers and the city workers for the playground for everybody. It looks great.
Yep. Thank you. Counselor Reuter?
Well, I just had one thing I wanted to throw out there. I was going to do it earlier, but, you know, the fireworks we had this year, I thought were fantastic. And you see all the people with all their families on the hill and things. I'd like us to consider moving the fireworks start to 9:15 or 9:30. It's plenty dark by then. That way people with kids up on the hill don't have to stay up there till 10:30 at night. It's just a suggestion. I've talked to some people and they said, yeah, that would work, because then if you want to go to the street dance, you're down there sooner. And,
I like the idea.
but I'd like us to think about it.
Thank you. And again, Counselor Johnson took my members' concerns, but I do want to thank all the volunteers, Jen McDonald, and I know we had a lot of city staff, street department, Megan, and Administrator Rich all participating in helping out. It looks great up there, so thank you to everybody that showed up and volunteered their time. I just would like an update too on that new pump house that we have on Levesque Road. what's happening with that. I know there's been some discussion on Facebook regarding the dirt piles around the property there, so I'm just curious as to what is going on with that pump station and if they're gonna get landscaping done this year or what. And then again, I'll remind everybody that the Proctor Fire Department is holding a scholarship bingo fundraiser October 28th at the Buffalo House. Doors open at 5, bingo starts at 6, so that's all I have. Attorney Bray. All right. With that, we'll entertain a motion to pay the bills in the amount of, if I don't have it in front of me. Megan, do you know that amount? Looks like $284,420.41.
I'll make that motion.
Counselor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Johnson. Any further discussion?
Oh.
Counselor Benson.
Never mind, I was looking at the wrong list here.
Thank you. Any
Sorry.
other? Nope, you're good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Counselor DeWall made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.